Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'll be giving my full review on the On Cloudmonster Hyper. And like always, I'll go over some of the basic specs on this shoe and then finally my experience running in it over the last 100 miles. So first of all, the Cloudmonster Hyper is a neutral road running shoe, and this shoe would fit into the super shoe category. So right away, you know it's going to be highly cushioned, hopefully pretty versatile, and also comes with a pretty hefty price tag. And speaking of the cushion, you're looking at a 38mm stack height in the rear, 32 in the forefoot for a heel to toe drop of 6mm. My men's size 8.5 weighs in at 8.8 ounces or 249 grams. Now the upper on the shoe is very soft. I found it breathed just fine. And as far as fit goes, you're going to want to go true to size. And another note about the fit of the shoe is it's quite roomy. So first of all, it's a pretty high volume fitting shoe. When you put your foot in, it goes deep into the shoe. So it is going to be pretty accommodating for a wider foot type. And I would actually go as far to say if you have a really narrow foot, this might not work for you. Overall, I have a pretty average foot and I was able to get a decent lockdown in this shoe. And for those of you wondering, yes, the insoles are removable. All right, now if we move along to the midsole, you're looking at two different midsole types. So this green foam is the regular EVA or Helion foam, and then this white section is the Helion HF foam, and I believe that's a PIBA based foam, and you get a big chunk of it in the forefoot. And then I originally thought that it disappeared in the back half of the shoe, but it's actually a really thin layer that runs along the top. I would say over my 100 miles in the shoe, it has really softened up over time. And if I did have some criticism about the shoe is I hope in the next version that they put in a lot more of this white foam or the Helion HF foam in the heel of the shoe. I think any of these new super trainers that come out onto the market, fill this sucker full of as much of your top end foam as you can. Especially me being more of a midfoot to heel striker, I think I would appreciate having a lot more of that foam in the rear. Another big thing to mention is this is a non-plated shoe, so a lot of the other On shoes have what they call a speedboard, and a lot of just the super trainers out on the market also are plated. This is a non-plated super trainer, and to be honest, I don't think the shoe needs a plate in it. It's still supportive enough. Even though it is a neutral shoe, it does have decent support, and the energy return is decent as well. The shoe has a bit of a rocker geometry, which definitely gives it a smooth feeling out on the roads. However, I will say the toe off doesn't feel as propulsive as like your carbon plated race day shoes. And to speak a little bit more on the ride, I have done everything in this shoe. So for the most part, I like using the shoe for easy runs, kind of into that tempo range. However, I did use the shoe once doing 200-meter repeats on the track, and it felt great and performed great for that purpose. For me and my purpose of running with the shoe, I'm going to mostly be using it kind of at that marathon pace and slower. Another thing to mention about this midsole after 100 miles, yes, it's softened up and it still feels fantastic. I am starting to get quite a bit of creasing in the midsole foam on the heel. And I didn't run in the Cloudmonster 2, however, I did have a pair of the Cloudmonster 1s, and I didn't get a whole lot of life out of that shoe, and I'm definitely going to be able to get more life out of this version, which is nice, especially because it comes with quite a heftier price tag. Then if we look at the outsole, you're getting a decent amount of rubber coverage, at least in all the high impact areas. The only real place that I'm seeing wear is on the lateral side of both heels. I've worn the tread down quite significantly. But overall, really nice outsole. Gone are the days of the big channel in the middle, so you're not going to get stones stuck in your outsole. And the Cloudmonster Hyper does grip quite well on wet pavement. Another thing to mention is I went on holidays this past summer, and I believe I only took 2 or 3 shoes with me, and the Cloudmonster Hyper was one of them. Just because it is so versatile. I could do my long runs, my easy runs, and a little bit of speed. Like I mentioned, I did the 200-meter repeats at the track. So if you know how many shoes that I own that I was able to pick the Cloudmonster Hyper, that should speak about how I feel about this shoe. I certainly do enjoy it. I think it's quite versatile as a super trainer. Honestly, I do like that it's not plated. I'm not sure I believe in training with a shoe that has a plate in it all of the time. So just to recap, if you are a fan of the original Cloudmonster, you'll certainly like the Cloudmonster Hyper. Or if you're in the market for a super trainer that does not have a plate in it, again, Cloudmonster Hyper. And if you're just a fan of On and you have a little bit of a wider foot, this is certainly more of the wider fitting options that I've ever tried with On. Oh, and lastly, the price. The Cloudmonster Hyper is coming in at a pretty hefty $220 US or 280 Canadian. And I think that's going to be it. So if there's anything I left out or if you have any questions, leave your comments down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Like always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.